Hey, what's up guys? I hope you're all having a fantastic day. In this video I'm going to be discussing the topic of social anxiety. I am somebody who suffered from debilitating social anxiety to an extent where I was missing at one point months of school. I was afraid to go out in public. As a matter of fact, it got so bad at a point where I was afraid to walk down busy roads where there was cars driving by because I was afraid to be seen. And it was very debilitating, and it really prevented me from living a happy life. And I think everyone knew it about me, and a lot of it did stem from my childhood. Things like being bullied when I was younger, being humiliated. Not a lot of people know this about me, but when I was 6 years old, I actually had cancer, and going like that obviously contributed a lot to my anxiety. I mean, going to school with a bald head, with tubes running in my nose, it did sort of prevent me from being able to socialize with other kids, and it did scar me and leave me with a perception that everybody had this sense of connection between each other that I was just missing. Like there was just something about me that, I don't know, I just wasn't able to communicate and socialize with people. And I just sort of felt like everyone had this weird communication with each other that I was missing, and I never really understood why, and that was really a big factor to my social anxiety. Obviously now I'm 21 years old, I look back and I realize why that was, and that's because I had lots of traumatic and unrelatable childhood experiences. And if anybody, it's not your fault you're socially anxious or anxious in general. I mean, the underlying cause of social anxiety is fear, and you've had this fear sort of cast into you and instilled into your heart ever since you were young against your free will. And you've almost been programmed to fear. Like fear has just been cast into you, literally instilled into your heart. And unfortunately, one of the only ways to get over, the main way to get over social anxiety or anxiety in general is time. I mean, time is really all it takes. But there are three things that tremendously helped me reduce my social anxiety when I was sort of suffering from it to a severe extent. And in this video, I'm going to share what those three things are. So without further ado, I think I should just get started. So the first piece of advice I can give you guys is to act against your thoughts. And what I mean by that is, say for example you get invited to a party or a social event or a family gathering or a wedding or whatever, I don't know. If you're socially anxious, let's say you get the call, you get the invite, immediately your mind and your ego would start telling you, or throwing these tricks at you and telling you, oh, you're not going to look good enough, oh, you have this on that day, or this might happen, or this person might not appreciate your presence, or this person you hate is going to be there. You really have to stop and recognize this voice and realize that it is just your brain playing tricks on you, and everything that you are fearing hasn't happened yet. It's all in the present moment, and nothing has actually happened yet. So you sort of just have to act against these ideas or thoughts that your ego sort of tries to trick you with when it comes to engaging in social situations. And it is extremely difficult to recognize these voices, and even me, I struggle to identify these ideas, thoughts, whatever you want to call them, whenever they come up. Like, everyone has them, and recognizing them really does set you free in an amazing way. Like, it helps you a lot in life. So just sort of acting against your will, acting against your thoughts, and accepting the fact that nothing terrible or really bad is going to happen. I mean, the worst, what is the worst case scenario? You just sort of have to ask yourself these questions. So either counter your thoughts or just shut them down completely, and just act against them. And remember, really, what's the worst thing that can happen if you do attend this social event, or if you do go to that party that you're afraid of going? All the irrational fears are just your brain playing tricks on you at the present moment, and nothing has actually happened yet. And identifying that and truly understanding that help unbelievably with overcoming social anxiety. The second piece of advice I can give is to find inspiration. This is something that helped me a lot. There's actually a quote by Franklin D. Roosevelt, who was the US president during World War II, and the quote goes like, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And I personally think that's one of the best quotes ever. Like, I love that quote so much. I think that anyone who has understanding would realize that it has such a deep, valuable meaning to it. And whenever I was in a situation I was afraid of, I'd always sort of say that quote to myself in my head, and also remind myself and ask myself, like, what is the worst case scenario that could come out of me engaging in this situation. And remembering, finding inspiration and remembering quotes from people you may find inspiring can help a lot with social anxiety or anxiety in general. There's been many times where, as I said, I've been in sticky situations, and my voice, my mind would start playing tricks on me, and my fear would kick in. But then I'd always just tell myself this quote, and I'd just go against whatever my mind and ego was telling me, and just go with it and just accept whatever happens. So finding inspiration, finding somebody to look up to, finding a role model, that's something that can tremendously help overcome social anxiety. Just looking for inspiration. And the third piece of advice I can give, and I know anyone who's suffered from social anxiety is going to despise me for saying this, because they've probably heard it a billion times, but that is, don't be afraid to seek help. Don't do what I did. I sort of had the macho man perspective for a while, and I was very afraid to talk to people and to seek help. But never be afraid to talk to friends, family, or counselors, psychologists, and just open up about your fears, because when you sort of gain perspective from somebody else's point of view, it really broadens your own perspective, and it helps you overcome a lot of the fears that you've been worrying about, and you realize how irrational a lot of the fears are. And talking to people, I think, really helps. Don't ever be afraid to just open up and call someone, and don't listen to that voice in your head that's going to tell you you're going to look weird if you talk to your friends about your problems. Just sort of try and seek advice, and don't be ashamed to seek help and to ask others for help. As I said, whether it's a family member or a professional, just don't be afraid to go out there and seek help. But ultimately, it's just time. Time is all it takes. I really did think at a point that I would be anxious for the rest of my life, that I was just hopelessly shy and insecure, and I would never really get over it. But the more I sort of matured, the less anxious I got. And now, I'm talking in front of a camera, I give speeches, I talk in front of thousands of people. I have thousands of people who follow me, and even my friends and family have noticed a tremendous improvement in my anxiety and social anxiety. And these 3 tips helped me a lot. Finding inspiration, acting against your thoughts, and not being afraid to seek help. So yeah, I know this video was quick, I apologize for that, but I really honestly hope someone out there who's watching this can take what I'm saying into consideration, and I hope that this video can help you guys. I have a lot of fresh content lined up, and I'm very excited to produce it. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe. Peace, and I love you all. Take care.